Alright guys, I don't make YouTube videos. I'm not a presenter, I'm not a gunsmith, I'm just your average Joe. Just looking to change out the safety to the more prone unit. I've already done so. I watched a YouTube video. It seemed very difficult the way that the YouTube videos were explaining how to do it. There's a much simpler way. So if you're not super handy, then I'm hoping that this one's going to make it a lot easier for you. And so really the only two tools you're going to need is a tiny screwdriver, maybe 2-3 millimeters in diameter, just big enough to fit through the gun itself here. I'll show that in a minute. And what I'm using is just a little craft knife, little scalpel thing. Now that's going to come in handy pretty much for the first step. Obviously, you're going to disassemble the slide off of the gun to expose the top here. Now, what the other videos show is that this assembly right here, it's a separate unit and it's kind of spring-loaded. And that's where it gets tricky if you've looked at some of the other videos. So what I have found through the process of doing it myself is real simple thing to do, which makes this super easy. Find yourself an elastic band, usually one that comes from the post office that comes on your mail. Wrap it around the hammer and wrap it around there, wrap it around the dovetail, and bring it back down to the base just to secure it in the far back position, as far back as it can go. There's a little bit of wiggle room there, so make sure it's down all the way. And what that does is it actually holds this little assembly, which likes to pop out, in place all the time. So I'll just remove the safety. You can see I already have the new unit on it, but it works just the same. Now, some of the other videos say to use a punch to knock this out. You don't need to do that. It has very little pressure. You can do it just by hand. So take the tip of your screwdriver and just apply just the tiniest amount of pressure, and you'll feel that pops in. Now, I do, well, let me back up. As I said, I don't do YouTube videos. This is very important. Prior to doing such, there is a tiny little spring. Let me get in there, because the other videos don't show it so well. It's right here in the center. It's a little spring, and it has a little leg that goes towards the muzzle, towards the tip. It's just a little leg, and it locks into a little slot on the shaft of the safety. Okay, so what I've done is from the right side of the gun is I've scooped underneath the leg of that spring, and I've just pulled it back to the right side of the gun on a little bit of an angle, and you'll see that it comes out of the groove. Obviously you can't see because of the video. Anyways, you'll clearly see that it's now out of that groove. Okay, now back to step 2. Again, just take a little screwdriver, apply a little bit of pressure, okay, just enough to make maybe in about a millimeter or 2. Now that you've done that, take your screwdriver and push the safety out with the screwdriver, leaving the screwdriver in the gun. Take out the safety, leave the screwdriver in the gun, leave about maybe 2-3 millimeters, an eighth or so for my American friends out there, eighth of an inch. Okay, now that is done, take the new safety that you like to install, place it into the gun, and I'm trying to do this around the camera here. I actually have it just taped to a flashlight. And what you want to do, real easy, is just put a little bit of back pressure on the screwdriver and push the screwdriver out with the new safety. Now, once you get to that little spring, if you just do a little back and forth, a little bit of a wiggle, it's tapered, so don't worry about it. Just a little bit of a wiggle, and it pops right over top, like so. Now you can remove the screwdriver. You're almost all the way through, as you can see. Now line up this side so it's straight. It's almost in. Now this is the last step. There is a tiny little lever and a spring inside right here. It has just a little bit of a tit on it that will trap this in there. So now what you want to do is take your little knife here, and they look like just like a couple of little grooves in there. Apply a little bit of pressure, squeeze the gun. You don't have to do it all the way till it pops in. I found if you just pull it back, let me get it in there. Just pull it back once, just a little bit. You can feel a little click. Okay, once that is done, you can push that in, and it is in all the way. And then you can take this and move. You'll be able to see that everything's rotating. Then make sure that your spring, that little leg, is popped back into that groove. And that's it. You've changed it out. The key is just locking this hammer all the way back, and this stays where you want it to stay. Easy in, easy out. Well, there's my first YouTube video. I hope it helps you fellas out there that want to do a change out. To me, it seemed a lot easier. And, well, happy shooting to all you guys out there. Guys and gals. Thanks for watching.